Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, the Undisputed Era explodes at NXT Takeover Vengeance Day as Adam Cole turns on Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly.
Eli Drake signs with WWE.
Got a couple of other signings to talk about in the form of a record-breaking former Impact champion and somebody from Evolve. That's disrespectful. It's Harlem Bravado.
And Sammy Guevara is in hot water with AEW after being pulled from the Impact Wrestling tapings. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Andy Murray.
And this is the news.
Somebody from Evolve. I'm very sorry. That sounded like the worst thing in the world. But let's kick things off by talking about the Undisputed Era. The biggest story coming out of last night's TakeOver special. You know, Dusty Classic winners. First ever Women's Dusty Classic winners. Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. On the men's side, MSK defeating the Grizzled Young Vets. No title changes. Tournament wins. But the biggest story coming out of the entire show is the Undisputed Era. Are they over? Are they done? Are they finished? That's the kind of big question coming out of this angle. So it was Finn Balor and Pete Dunne in the main event. Really hard-hitting, lengthy main event. A technical classic, as the commentators and Triple H have put it over as. It was a really good match. Afterwards, Dunne's defeated. His allies, the Bald Brothers, Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan, come down to beat Finn Balor up. Take that, you cat. They are saved by the Undisputed Era. Sans Bobby Fish, who's injured as hell at the moment. Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, they make the save. They run the heels off. They help old Finlay Balor right up to his feet afterwards. Looks like a show of respect. Looks like, you know, the bond between Kyle O'Reilly and Finn Balor is particularly tight here. Adam Cole, he says no. He super kicks Finn Balor's head into the fifth row of the, it's not the Thunderdome, what's it called? The Capitol Wrestling Center. Kyle O'Reilly's like, hey man, what the hell are you doing? That was BS. I don't like this. This is not good. So what does Adam Cole do? He kicks Kyle O'Reilly's head off as well. 2 super kicks. Leaves Roderick Strong looking very, very conflicted and very, very confused. He leaves the ring, Adam Cole does. Just these 2 bodies on the canvas, knocked out cold. What the hell is going on? Is this a heel turn for Adam Cole? It certainly felt like one. Is this a split for the Undisputed Era? We will need to find out. There's been a lot of stuff brewing recently, the mutual respect between Kyle O'Reilly and Finn Balor in particular. They've had 2 excellent title matches recently in NXT. Balor and Cole, of course, have wrestled in each of the past 2 years for the NXT Championship. It looks like we're probably heading towards another one of those. Although maybe you got O'Reilly in the mix as well. Maybe your WrestleMania TakeOver match is O'Reilly, Balor, and Cole in some kind of wacky triple threat. That sounds really good. Throw not Bobby Fish, he's injured. Throw Roderick Strong in there as well. Why the hell not? Could be a really cool match. You could do an elimination match. Whatever you want to do. There's plenty of good, exciting options here. This felt like the angle that NXT kind of needed to breathe some new life into the product, and I'm sure we'll hear more on Wednesday.
Yeah, a brilliant ending to a sensational show from NXT, I thought. The best pay-per-view of the year, as much as that is a bit of a backhanded compliment in February. But yeah, so excited to see where they go with this. Like you say, just a great ending with Cole turning on O'Reilly, it seems, and that shot of Roderick Strong stood in the ring looking at a downed O'Reilly and Adam Cole marching to the back and not really knowing what to do. I think this is exactly what NXT needs right now. Like you say, more than happy to see Cole versus Balor yet again with these dynamics change slightly yet again. And yeah, Hoy, Strong and O'Reilly in there if you want. I do love last night's show. The MSK versus Grizzlies Young Veterans match is probably my favourite match of the year so far. But across the board, I just thought it was so good. And speaking of last night's TakeOver, I should point out that Eli Drake was revealed, or as he's now known, LA Knight, as a WWE superstar. He popped up on the kickoff show and quite rightly put Sam Roberts in his place, and that bloke from Barstool Sports announced himself. It had already been reported that by PW Insider that he was signing with the promotion. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful confirmed it, and then as I said, he was revealed. And then later on, during TakeOver itself, there was a brief segment backstage with him signing a contract with William Regal. Of course, he was with WWE about 7-8 years ago. but had a bit of a disagreement with Bill DeMott and subsequently left the promotion. I think he's been one of the shining stars over in Impact Wrestling. I think it's a great signing for them. I'm excited to see what happens next. And, well, Triple H was full of compliments for LA Knight on the post-takeover media call, Andy. What do you reckon?
Yeah, LA Knight is a crap ring name. Let's get that out of the way. Like, it just sounds like a bad sports team. You could have come up with something better than that, but he's a WWE guy through and through. He's got a great look. He's a great talker. He plays his character well. He had a good run in Impact. He was in the NWA until that promotion kind of shut down at the onset of the global health crisis. He is so WWE. This is just like a perfect fit. You will not find like a more perfect signing, I think, to fit the WWE mold. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how he fits in NXT, given its, stylistic differences a bit from the main roster. Maybe he'd be a better fit on Raw or SmackDown, but for the company as a whole, it's like a glove. It's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. And I think he'll do very well there, particularly if Triple H is already bigging him up, as he did on that call. Said he's been interested in him for ages, was impressed by him last time. It's a good move for all involved, I think.
And, early signs of intention, part of that promo he cut on last night's show, he said, if you've got a championship, North American Championship or NXT Championship, keep your eyes open because he's coming for them. Yeah, you don't need to faff about with someone like him. He's ready-made to go straight into a title picture for me. Very interesting to see where they go next with him. And what on earth's going on with Karrion Kross as well. So exciting in NXT.
Everything is exciting apart from the zombies. I don't want the zombies back. I hope Cameron Grimes' money has sent them away forever. But NXT's on a bit of an upswing, and last night's show was really good. So there you go.
And Austin Theory got kidnapped during last night's show, apparently.
Let's hope he stays kidnapped. Anyway, moving on to another couple, not in real life, obviously, just on TV. Another couple of NXT signings, or maybe a main roster signing for one of these people. Harlem Bravado, formerly of Evolve, has signed for WWE. This was confirmed by PW Insider yesterday. He last wrestled for Evolve. He hasn't been active since then, March 2020. He's probably best known for his work there, teamed with his brother Lancelot as one half of the Bravado brothers there for a long, long time. 31 years old, interesting piece to add to the pile. But I think the bigger name of these two signings is Taya Valkyrie, who is, of course, the record-breaking Impact Knockouts champion. She held that belt for 377 days, the longest single reign ever, between 2019 and 2020. She's a major player there all the way through to her finishing with the company. Her contract expired in December and she was out after a set of tapings in January. We've talked about Taya a lot on this channel, and we've always said like WWE's the perfect move for her. And she's landed there. PW Insider again coming through with a story. Her husband, John Morrison, is on the main roster, obviously. It's just a perfect fit. It's like Eli Drake. It makes all the sense in the world. Looking forward to seeing these people get started. There's no word on where they'll end up. You'd think that Bravado will go through the Performance Center and then on to NXT, but Taya, you could throw her on the main roster immediately. You could put her as part of that Miz and Morrison act, although they're kind of jokers at the moment. They're kind of jobbers. It's like, do you want to have somebody like tarred with that brush on their first run? We'll see where it goes. But hey, I'm looking forward to seeing them getting started. WWE signing a boatload of people at the moment. They signed Blake Christian Casanova over the weekend as well. Anthony Henry's coming in, AQA, Sari from Japan. It's crazy. They're in signing overdrive once again, it seems, and there are more to come. We've heard from Triple H that the next Performance Center intake is going to feature more women's wrestlers than in any other class before as well. So more names to come. It's exciting times for these people and their WWE journeys. Let's see what names follow them.
Yeah, WWE just hoovering up talent right now. But excited to see what they do with both these guys, particularly Taya Valkyrie, as you say. I mean, it's sod's law with John Morrison being on the main roster. She'll probably get shoved onto NXT. But I would like her, to be involved with something with Morrison on the main roster. Maybe she's the catalyst for him taking things a bit more seriously and finally grabbing that brass ring. I hope so. And I just hope WWE just don't go, another potential couple storyline. They're a happily married couple. Let them be happily married and do well together if you want to go down that road, rather than just, this Jezebel sort of thing, because it's bollocks. It's played out, that storyline. Right, let's conclude by talking about Sammy Guevara, I'm Team MJF all the way, of course. And he's in a bit of hot water with AEW after being pulled from Impact Wrestling TV tapings due to creative differences. We've reported this very recently that he's due to do something in Impact Wrestling. And over the weekend, Slam Wrestling broke this story, then PW Insider corroborated it. Issues with him traveling to Impact Wrestling. He was meant to go down the day before tapings, changed that, ended up arriving just a few hours before tapings were meant to happen. Then, according to reports, changed his mind. He didn't want to do what was originally agreed to, apparently. This is just meant that he got pulled from TV by Impact Wrestling because they couldn't sort it out in time. This has caused rift with AEW officials. Allegedly, Chris Jericho was the one who contacted Sammy Guevara to tell him to fly home, basically, after arriving in Nashville. He also spoke to Don Callis. But fear not anyone concerned about the issues between AEW and Impact Wrestling. As a result of this, they are still described as golden when it comes to a relationship between the two. And yeah, just more evidence that MJF was right, Andy Murray.
Turns out Maxwell was right all along. Never doubt the salt of the earth. That's why he's called the salt of the earth, man. You sever your ties with him, you're going down the pan, seems. I mean, this sucks. It sucks to hear stories like this. It always does. Don't want to pan either side too hard without being privy to more of the details surrounding it, but the whole thing is rubbish. You should listen to Maxwell, though. Come on, Sammy.
Exactly. Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions. At WhatCulture WWE, of course, if you want to get in touch with us. First question today comes from Pac-Man14, who says, what do you guys think about having Apollo Crews win the IC title from Big E at the Chamber and then be christened by Roman Reigns into the family and getting a seat at the table with Jey Uso being the disgruntled odd person out?
It's an interesting thought. It would give Apollo Crews something to do, but it seems kind of random. I'm not too sure how Apollo Crews would fit into this table storyline, organically. I kind of like it being the Samoan dynasty and built around their history and family bonds and everything else. And I like the idea of bringing Jimmy Uso in some capacity and bringing other people in. The Rock we've spoken about 7 million times. I don't know about Apollo Crews as a fit, but I do like that they're doing a bit more with him because he's a very talented pro wrestler.
Yeah, I talked about this a lot with Hamflet and Phil when we're talking about SmackDown, and I think this might be the right direction to go in. I like the subtlety and the fact they've slow played this seeming heel turn from Apollo Crews. I like him being brought into the family. I like the idea, I know it's happening quite a lot, of them holding all the gold. So the Usos hold the tag titles, Roman obviously holds the Universal title, and Apollo Crews, who is rechristened Apollo Crusoe, good work,
wow,
wins the IC title. But I'm excited to see what direction they go in because something that really you can see Apollo Crews is enjoying getting his teeth into. Right, second question today comes from Tim Smith, who says, I know you guys are really high on the work Roman is doing right now, and I enjoy it as well, but do you think it could be possible to start a SmackDown with anyone other than him?
Yeah. I hate the show opening promo. It's I don't hate Roman's show opening promos. Yes. Let's make that clear. I think he's very good on the microphone and there's been some really good promos and angles in that spot. But just every show having to open with a promo is really boring. It's change the formula up. Every time they do change the formula up and start with a match, rocket science, I know, mind-blowing, it feels fresh and exciting and everything else. So literally anything. Just don't have a promo in that slot. Do anything else on a more regular basis and I'll be happy. The Roman promos are good. It's not the content that's the problem, it's the format. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the first to complain when Raw starts with a Triple H-esque 20-minute opening promo, but I have to say I adore Roman starting SmackDown. The fact that the show starts and you immediately just get him coming out flanked by all of his boys. So I do enjoy them at the moment, although I do agree with you, Andy, it'd be nice to change things up occasionally and have a match. But in terms of if you're saying, right, we have to have an opening promo, but we can't have it with Roman, I mean, take your pick. Sami Zayn would be my pick. Air his documentary for the first 10 minutes of SmackDown this week, maybe, but so long as we get to see it, I don't really care. But yeah, opening promos, it's like they're still using the script from the mid-noughties, and they go, oh, that's in place, so we have to have that. It's like, nope, you don't have to. It's been demonstrated by quite a few other shows that you can just have an exciting start to the show rather than a champion and authority figure welcoming the audience to whatever show it is. Jay Tilbury 990 gives us our final question of the day, saying, do you think there is a possibility of AEW doing a 30-man Rumble style match? Personally, I'd like to see it for the AEW Championship with Kenny in the ring and a few others laid out about number 30. A few others laid out about number 30. You hear a coin flip and Okada walks out.
That would be really cool, and you could fantasy book a great one like Okada coming in at 30 would be tremendous. But I don't think they will do that. I think the line between that and WWE is far too close. I think they will shy away as far as possible, as much as they possibly can, from doing WWE gimmick matches in the Royal Rumble or a Royal Rumble style 30-person staggered entry over the top battle royal is a WWE creation. It's the same reason I don't think we'll ever see what's another WWE gimmick? Like a Hell in a Cell or whatever. I think they'll stick to more, they're going to do some WCW stuff. They're going to do a War Games match, as Blood and Guts and all this. But I think they will be very careful to avoid WWE stuff like that.
Yes, I agree. I think the closest you're going to get is the Casino Battle Royal, and that's still not quite figured out in my head in terms of how you present it. But just very excited about Okada popping up in AEW, if I'm honest, and wanting a reason to mention it. Speaking of wanting a reason to mention something, today's and finally is me just imploring you, even if you're not a fan of NXT, go and watch the 2-minute promo from Cameron Grimes last night on NXT TakeOver. It's a sort of music video made by a friend of the channel, Josiah Williams, and Cameron Grimes. And I think it might be the greatest thing ever created in wrestling. It's a music video, as I said, with Cameron Grimes singing "To the Moon" as part of the chorus. Apologies, Andy, I should have warned you about that, especially on a Monday morning. But jeez. I feel like the images that you may have already seen just sum it up perfectly. Give him all the titles and then make new ones, as Hamflet texted me last night, that he can then subsequently buy because he's minted, Andy.
Yeah, I'm just glad he got away from those zombies, man. Less zombies on TV in 2021. Appreciate it.
Honestly, that made my Sunday. That made staying up last night to watch TakeOver worth it, as well as all the other amazing wrestling matches as well, as I backhand that entire show. Yeah, the wrestling matches were good as well, I suppose. Right, let us know your thoughts on that and all today's news stories in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. Myself and the Dadley Boys sitting down to review NXT TakeOver and look ahead to Monday Night Raw tonight. WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcast from. Plus, you can let us know your thoughts and Twitter questions on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. Watch there, follow both of us. You can follow Andy Murray at
Andy H. Murray. The H today stands for Humberto Carrillo. Remember him?
Oh, yeah.
Where the hell's he gone? Main event is the answer, but Jesus.
Where all good talent goes, apparently. Yeah, just put a better career on Ricochet on main event. Yeah. Okay. Follow me on Twitter at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCultureWWE. But for now, my thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you to the moon.